Cho, okay. Raising children is a very, very difficult work. And there are so many materials out in the world about how to raise our children. And you know, when we had our children, the biggest teacher was Dr. Benjamin Spock. And we followed him, and when he turned about 80 something, like 2 years before he died, he came out on the TV and said, all that I taught was wrong. Which is a horrifying experience, you know, because we try to follow his book very, very closely. STEP program is it is not a Bible study, but it is a training lessons that were based upon the biblical principles, which is being used in public schools as well. So Julie prayed about it for a long time. You know, we have 3 kids, and I don't know why raising children is always difficult. I don't know why it's always, I mean, we've been doing it for like thousands of years. I don't know why it's still difficult, but it is still very challenging. And Ms. Cho is an expert, and she's taught this both at schools and in Christian-related settings. So we have invited her to teach this thing at our church. Now there's a cost. There's a cost. I believe $200. But you know, Julie wanted to take this class. This class was available when our kids were growing up. We could not take it really because we did not have $200. Okay, and Julie regrets it so much that now our kids are, Teresa is going away, and we have 2 kids, junior and sophomore. We have like window of 3 years. She's gonna take it now. She wants to make the most of 3 years left with our children. You know, we invited Ms. Cho here to explain a little bit about how she got this class started and you know, what the class is. And we want to encourage you to take the class. $200 could be a lot of money for some people, not so much money for some people. If money is a problem, let us know. We will give scholarship to you. Some people get embarrassed, but really do not get embarrassed. But really, we want to raise a future generation that will be leaders in our society. I also want to encourage you to invite your friends who are not Christians. Okay, who are not Christians. This can be a very, very evangelistic opportunity because all the parents want to raise their children well. So please keep that in mind. And I want to welcome Ms. Cho here.
안녕하세요. I'm very excited. 정말 사랑합니다. Do you know how, that was the only Korean part. Do you know how much I do love you? I developed my whole career working for your generation. I'm a first-generation Korean immigrant, and I came to this country in 1977, worked in the school system the whole time. And I taught parenting classes because I was raised by very negative parents. They escaped from North Korea during the Korean War. I was their first child. They didn't know how to be a good parent. And the whole generation after war were very scared, and they had similar characteristics as first generation immigrant parents do. And I came to this country I married early to be free from my parents, you know, their ways of like influencing me. And I came to this country to be free from like Korean prejudice. But when I first came here, I started working as a bilingual teacher in the American school system, and hundreds of kids were struggling to learn English, trying to fit into the American school system. And as a bilingual tutor and an aide, I started facing the same prejudice as I did, you know, in Korea, and I realized prejudice is a culture of human being that's not like Christ. But when I had a child, I have 2 daughters. When I had the first child, I felt the negative force of my patterns influencing the ways I interacted with my daughter. And I took, all kinds of training and started teaching parenting classes in 1985. And since then, I worked with thousands of kids and their families in the capacity as ESL teacher, a bilingual consultant, counselor, teacher trainer, and Sunday school teacher and the director, Korean school principal, and preschool owner all my life. And I have found this program, STEPS, systematic training for empowered parents and students, to be most practical and fundamental because it's Christian-based, as Pastor Danny Han said, and it's easy to apply to our daily life situations. Through the developmental stages of our kids, it is challenging to raise the kids, as Pastor Han said, but it's not too late, even when the kids are young, even if you don't have the children yet, because the psychological and behavioral patterns come in when we're very young, and hopefully before we have children, we would have worked on our issues. But many of us don't, because we learn the ways to compensate the way we think and act and get by pretty well until we have kids. And when we have the children, all our shortcomings surface, and all the needs that had not been met when we were growing up surface. And unlike our wishes, sometimes monsters in us just come out, to attack the misbehaviors of our kids. So it's very, very important for parents to be, if you're pregnant or getting married soon or have children already, it's very, very important to look at yourself and look at the ways you think and behave. It's hard to believe how much, someone you never met could love you, but I do love you because I have worked English-speaking 0.5 second generation people all my life. And if you don't believe me, at least believe what Paul said in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Faith is being sure of what we hope for and what we do not see. And some parents study and don't practice what they learn, but the ones who work hard change the lives of themselves, their kids, and their family. And please take miracle steps with me. Thank you.